I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
The Navigator. You are the Navigator and his crew. Are on the mission of a lifetime.
20,000 feet and falling.
Disney's Flight of the Navigator, rated PG.
Now playing at theaters everywhere. Check your local newspaper.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. And this is a request from Sean, Patreon request. If anyone's interested in requesting any type of reviews or re-reviews, topics, reactions, reviews of other stuff, or just movies, pretty much any type of video, you request either send it directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links will be down in the info box, and I will get to them as soon as I can. Now, this is a review of the Flight of the Navigator. Now, I know there's an Arrow Video Blu-ray. Sadly, I didn't get my hands on it. But watch this again. This is when Disney was worth a shit. I mean, nowadays, as a friend of mine would say, Mickey Mouse can blow dollars for quarters. Hopefully it's not Pluto. But back then, they were actually worth a shit. This included. Now, with that said, before I start, I saw a trailer for a documentary called Life After the Navigator. I think the same guys that did Life After Flash for Flash Gordon. And it talked about the life of the lead actor and what went on with his life. They did one for this. I don't know when it's coming out, but the trailer is very heartfelt. Because this kid is named Joey Cramer. Now, Joey Cramer, he started off in this film I love to death called Runaway with Tom Selleck. He played Tom Selleck's kid. After that, he did this film called Daryl, which I reviewed, I think, a few months ago, which I didn't mind the film. And then this one. After that, he didn't do a whole lot. And then things kind of dwindled. I remember years and years ago reading up about how he was involved with a bank robbery, and I'm like, fuck, what happened to this kid? But what was nice about the trailer was it was a redemption type of story where there's a part where in the trailer Joey Kramer's like tearing up saying how he let people down, and you say, well, he's an actor. Well, you know what? Yeah, he's an actor, but that to me was real. Or he's a fucking really good actor. But to me, that felt real when he did that in the trailer for the documentary. And sincere. It seems sincere. And I am glad that he's gotten his life together. that's why I'm fascinated with the documentary, because it also had the people who played his parents, Veronica Cartwright from Alien, and Cliff DeYoung, who he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in this film I enjoy from the 80s called Pulse. It's been a lot of stuff. He played the dad. Looks interesting, but I just wanted to point out where I'm glad that Joey Cramer has, gotten better, and that's really nice to see. Hopefully he stays that way. Hopefully it all works out even further, but that was nice. So nice, that little rainbow at the end of the tunnel. Now for the film itself, this was entertaining watching it. It's been a while since I've seen this, and the reason, I think one of the many reasons why this became a cult film was, on one hand, the story was interesting of a person at a time. What would you feel like if you were out of your element, and how would you behave? How would you look at the world that's changed? The story of the film is Joey Cramer has his little brother, his parents, around 4th of July, it's 1978. One thing leads to another. He, going through these woods, falls a ravine, seems like he's knocked out, wakes up. When he goes back home, it's someone completely new there. New house, new people, and ultimately he finds out it's 1986. 8 years have passed. And the cops find him. Ultimately he's rejoined with his parents and his little brother, who's now much taller and older than him. And I thought Joey Cramer did a really good job with the emotions, with how being freaked out about this, being scared. But it's not so consistent that it gets tiresome and old. And, oh God, just get over it. Yes, in real life, that'd be hard to get over it, but you have to also realize it is a movie. You have to keep the story going. I thought this did a good job with that. And pretty much, he's taken to NASA for tests. And I forgot who was the guy who was the doctor. He's been in quite a few stuff. I think he was in WKRP in Cincinnati. God, I forgot his name. Maybe give me a minute, I'll think of it. But Howard Hessman, I believe Howard Hessman is the doctor. And Sarah Jessica Parker, I forgot she was in this. She's like an orderly at the facility. And this sort of, again, out of his element where he's watching TV and he doesn't know what a music video is. Or, well, do they still have Big Mac and Coke here? Yeah, do you want cherry Coke? Diet Coke, cherry Coke, all this other Coke. I was ready for him to say, you want cocaine? That type of Coke, but no. And he's like, what? Cherry Coke? Like, what's that? And what you come to find out is that the reason he's been gone for 8 years, but he still looks the same, is dealing with this thing, which they also find. This, I really like the design of this spaceship. It's like a metallic football, and I just like the sleekness and the smoothness of the design. I always thought that was a very unique, for me, interesting look of the ship. Just, again, the sleekness really worked. And that also comes to the other almost I say relatable, not in the fact that we've been through this, but the idea of who wouldn't want their own spaceship. That's one of the reasons why I love the first half of Explorers. Then the third act fucked it up. At least the third act doesn't fuck up here. But, what happens if you had your own spaceship? And this figure, which he nicknames Max, is actually voiced by Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman himself. And when it's the more serious voice, I'm like, is that Paul Rubens? It sounds nothing like Paul Rubens. But then when he scans the kid, because he needs some of the star charts that the kid has in his brain, and by doing that, he gets a bit more of emotions, and he does the laughs, including the Pee Wee Herman laugh. I'm like, okay, that is Paul Rubens. Which I don't know if Paul Rubens is ever asked about this movie. But But I like the effects. I mean, yeah, the effects of there's some creatures on the ship, including this little bat-like creature. Some people may make fun of it, but I was fine with it. It looked cute enough to me, and it has more charm than a fucking CGI effect. So, and again, the design of that creature is a bit cute, and this whole eyeball type of thing, I thought that was a nice design. Why is it nice? Because it doesn't give it a face, so that way the voice, you can still put whatever face you want into it, but at the same time it gives the kid something physical to look at and move around and interact with, so it's not just him interacting with a voice and like, well, what do you do? At least you give the actor something physical, not a fucking green ball that they put in after the fact. So like when it's dancing, and I mean when the song comes on, the Beach Boys, and the kid's doing this, and you see it doing the same thing. That visual creates a little bit more of the bond these two share, so that when they say goodbye at the end, there's a bit more heart to that. Alan Silvestri's score, which I did not realize Alan Silvestri did the score, really enjoy it. Thought it was really, I would say this is one of the Alan Silvestri scores that no one really brings up. Because Back to the Future, of course. Predator, of course. But no one ever brings this music up, but it's rather effective. Especially during some of the flying sequences and some of the emotional sequences. I even like the music that's at the, you hear it a couple times, but in specific during the end credits. I like the beat to it. And again, the Beach Boys song, that's the scene I do remember as a kid, because I know I saw this as a kid, but I didn't remember it all the way through. But the scene I did remember is the kid and the, I guess you would say the ship itself, moving along to the Beach Boys song. I get around, round. That always stuck out to me. And again, it has that thing that makes you feel like a kid again of, man, how cool it would be to have the experience of flying your own spaceship. Especially one that looks cool like this. And Veronica Cartwright, Cliff DeYoung, they don't have a lot to do as the parents, to be fair. I mean, they're solid, accomplished actors. But when you watch, it's not like they're given much meat to play. And there's not like meaty roles. It's, oh, I care about my son. Hey, don't be scared. Part of me's like, well, how could you work them more into the story to give them a bit more to their parts? But the movie wasn't about them; it was about the kids. So they were effective for what they had to do. The older brother, I like how the older brother was so supportive, realizing that his technically older brother was so scared, and the younger brother's now bigger, is trying his best to comfort him. And the humor, there are a couple of moments that made me smirk. There's a point where they land at this guy named Big Al, and the whole time Big Al just stands there and doesn't move at all. And like this family comes by thinking it's part of the gas station or whatever, part of the props. And again, the Big Al just keeps staring and keeps staring. And then as it leaves, the one line he says is, he just wanted to phone home. I like the guy's delivery on that. The fact that he wasn't doing anything made it a bit funnier in a weird way. The flying scenes for the time in 1986, I thought were fairly well done. Because take in the time it was made. It's not like it was made last year. But the fighting sequences are still entertaining. At times, when the Max, sometimes his jokes didn't land. Like when he's making fun of the big gal's weight. I thought, wow, what an asshole. What a fucking dickhead. So there's certain jokes that I just didn't find as funny as maybe the writers thought or the director thought. Sarah Jessica Parker, she did fine. I don't know, I was going to say I thought she'd have a bigger role. But I guess the more I think about it, I don't know what more she could have done in the movie. I have to wonder with the marketing if people at the time, I wonder if they thought this was going to be a lot more of this. Because it takes a while for this to take place. Which to me, in retrospect, was the right call. It does a nice job building up the situation so you can really get into Joey Cramer, his character's frame of mind. It does take because it's not until like an hour into it before you really get to him in the spaceship, and it's only a 90-minute movie. So again, I do wonder if people at the time, they're like, where's the alien? Where's the alien? Where's the alien stuff? Because that's what all the advertising was about. I mean, hell, that's what the poster is. That's what all the the trailers, TV, they focus on that aspect. Not so much him 8 years away from his life and trying to. I wonder if people, like I said, at the time were disappointed and they're like, what the fuck? But again, for me in retrospect, that was the right call. Because like I said, it does a nice job building up to be in the mindset of this character so that we give a shit that he's running around with this spaceship. Because like, okay, you can look at the nice special effects, but if I don't give a shit about the story, or I don't give a shit about the main character's plight, then it's all, in a way, all for naught. It's like, oh, we got a bunch of seasoning, but okay, you got frosting, but the cake tastes like shit. This frosting doesn't save it. Or not even that. I'm the type of guy that I need a nice cake for my frosting. I don't just eat frosting. Maybe some people do. Some people just like frosting. I want some good cake to it too. In fact, sometimes I prefer the cake without the frosting. But that depends. Now I'm hungry. We talk about food? No. And there's some nice heartfelt moments in this. I don't know why, this is a spoiler, but the very, very end of the film, and in spoilers, he's able to get back in 1978, he's with his family, and he realizes that the little bat thing, what's it called? The Putmaran? Yeah, I think the Putmaran. He still has it. And just the look the little brother gives, like, with the glasses, like, I don't know, just that reaction, it did make me laugh. And then how Joey Cramer, who now appreciates his brother more, he's like, and then the little brother smiles. For some reason, that simplest change was, I thought, kind of heartwarming. And I can't really explain why. Just something about that, I'm like, okay, that's really nice. And it definitely ends with you having a smile on your face. It's a nicely done story. And makes the kid feel more for his family and appreciate more what he has in life. And this fun little adventure he went on. And there are states as well where he could go back, but there's a risk to it. It's like, well, I'm going to take the risk because if I'm here, then these NASA guys are going to keep poking and prodding at me, and it'll never be over, and I've lost so many years. 8 years is a long time. I want to gain that back. One thing that would have been nice, it would have been cool if they did a bit more with his out of element with time. Again, the movie's 90 minutes. I think we could have had another like 5 minutes sprinkled throughout of the difference between 1978 and 1986. A bit more of those different clothes, different like movies. But I think one thing that would have been funny is do like a Star Wars reference. Like the kid's a big Star Wars fan. By the way, kid, did you know there's 2 more Star Wars films? He's like, what? Like moments like that I think would have been fun to see his reaction to those. Like him, maybe he sees like a VHS tape. And maybe he's like, what's this? Because I don't know VHS tapes were in 1978. But 1986, like, what's this? A VHS tape? Like, I think that would have been even more fun to get more of those elements sprinkled out throughout it. Doesn't have to be fucking 15 minutes of it, but I mean, if you take like 5 minutes and you sprinkle that throughout, I don't know, that's one thing that I would like to have seen a bit more of. Like a bit more of like how, like they have the scene with the music video, but I just wish that was amplified a bit more. Other than that, yeah, I don't really have a lot of issues with it. I don't remember what this director has done, Randal Kleiser. I don't know what else he's done since. But, yeah, Flight of the Navigator, entertaining Disney movie. I did when Disney was worth a shit. But I'll repeat, now Mickey Mouse can blow Dodge for quarters. Hopefully not Pluto. With that said, I look forward to the Life After the Navigator documentary. If you have the Arrow video, you can feel free to let me know how it is in the comment section if you wish. I'd be curious to hear about that. There was talks of rebooting the film. You don't need to remake and reboot the fucking film. Apparently at one point Neil Blomkamp, the director of District 9, wanted to produce a remake of this, which I'm like, that's fucking random. Is it going to take place the same place that all of his other fucking movies took place in? Well, those are the ones he directed, but you don't need to fucking remake a Flight of the Navigator. Just the documentary that I look forward to, not a fucking reboot or a remake or whatever the hell they call it. It's not needed. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.